This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to find out more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a major shout out goes out to our boss level patrons, Christopher, Patrick, and Skylar.
Welcome, students, to your first day back to school at 3-Bit Junior High School. For our new students, we're excited to show you what our unique school is all about. And for our returning students, welcome back. We hope you can help out our newer students getting acclimated to our really cool school. Far out!
Oh, man. Gee. Let's see here. Room 8008? Wait, no, that can't be right. It says here home room? What's a home room?
Nerd alert! Check out the new kid!
Come here, you little punk!
No. I have to get to homeroom.
What are you carrying? A freaking saxophone?
He is a nerd.
Oh, you're getting it now, dork! Get ready to eat some erasers!
No, you know what, guys? You might stuff erasers in my mouth today, but in a few years, when school's over,
You just locked into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to 3-Bit Junior High School. I'm your principal, JD.
Oh, my name's Peterson.
Stuffed you in a lockerson, little bitch.
Oh, you think this is the first time I've been in a locker? I live in the locker. You don't even know.
I brought a flashlight today.
I got snacks.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right. Our news this week, as with all weeks, is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this awesome soda and cookie shop here in Utah, in the Salt Lake Valley currently. You can go to cravecookies.com and just look at all the stuff I'm going to be talking about. But guys,
just food porn. Yeah, don't.
It is food porn. It really is. Trent's got this like looping video of him just pulling these cookies apart. It's pornographic. There's the Twix this week, the Cinna Roll Pop-Tart, which I love. The Biscuit Doodle, is that one new? The goat of all cookie breeds.
Oh gosh, Snickerdoodle dough with cinnamon sugar topped with Biscoff cookie. He said every single Biscoff cookie he does ends up as one of his top sellers.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Because people like cookie on cookie.
Dude.
Got the malted milkshake.
Little cookie on cookie action never hurt anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, this is amazing. Gosh damn. Okay, check out cravecookies.com and get your cookie on. Skull! Valheim is coming to Xbox and Game Pass next year.
Okay. Don't say it like that. This is like, you did it like Eurotrash European, not.
Whoa!
You didn't.
No, that was Bavarian. Don't say Eurotrash. That's like old school Bavarian.
No, it was not.
I have you been? I've been.
Guys, whoever said someone was spot on because I'm getting that accent from Beer Fest. That's my highest exposure to European culture.
Oh my God.
It's Beer Fest, so that's where I got the ass.
Beer Fest? Oh my God!
Movie.
When was the
you
last
were
time
right
you saw
on
that
Bavarian,
movie?
though. You nailed it. That is what the
yeah you
yeah,
did.
That's
you did do good on the accent because we knew exactly where you were. Like I could picture you.
Anyway, Valheim, the non-Bavarian video game. Need to work on my Scandinavian accent.
At least for Vikings.
Yeah, I need to work on like my Viking accent.
Yep.
Whatever. Apparently, it's not Bavarian. They're taking Valheim to Game Pass and Xbox. More importantly, Xbox next year. They did roll out controller support pretty quickly after the game.
Did you ever use it?
Yeah, and it's, dude, as long as you're not building, it's awesome. If you're honestly for exploring, for running around, and even for sailing and stuff, is literally everything but building controller, I would say, is better. Just because you can just sit there. When I was doing it, I would sit there with my controller in my lap and just like run around. And if I stopped to build, I'd just switch to controller and keyboard, because you can just do it. You can just switch back and forth like that.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised, and I don't think it will be. I think the controller support will probably only get better at this point.
Interesting.
Because they'll probably add, different hotkeys for building and make it a little bit smoother. But I think it's kind of cool. It seems like a good fit. Doesn't it kind of feel like a Minecraft kind of deal? Where Microsoft is really getting behind this game because of the social aspect and the fact that you can play this game forever and just keep playing it.
100% for sure.
Yeah, so I think that it just kind of feels like Microsoft is kind of looking at Valve. They're like, oh, our next Minecraft move. Okay, cool. Just hop on. Just throw it in the Game Pass bag. According to a Watchdog report, 2 and 5 Switch Joy-Con controllers experienced Joy-Con drift.
Nope, 4 out of 4.
Yeah.
This is independent group called Which with a question mark. So this will be fun. Which's findings are based on the result of a YouGov online survey. So they polled 919 people in the UK that owned Switches, which I guess is a pretty decent sample size. And 6 in 10, or 57%, said they experienced drift issues within the first year, and a quarter contacted Nintendo for a replacement. And of those, 19% were not offered a free replacement. So Switch is calling on Nintendo to commission an independent investigation, and we all know what's going to happen, because Nintendo responded to this report, and they said, quote, "The percentage of Joy-Con controllers that have been reported as experiencing issues with the analog stick in the past is small, and we've been making continuous improvements to the Joy-Con analog stick since its launch in 2017. Dude, Nintendo just repeated back to them what the report said. They said, yes, of those people that have issues with the Switch, only a quarter of them actually report it to you, you stupid fucks. And Nintendo's like, hey, not a lot of people report this issue to us. And they're like, yeah, we know! That's what
we're trying to tell you right now. That's exactly what I just said.
This is insane. It's like Nintendo just skimmed the headline and didn't actually read it. That's the whole point, is that more people experience drift and don't want to hassle at all with getting their Joy-Cons replaced. So they either buy new ones, which Nintendo is psyched on, or they just stop playing the Switch.
I'm somehow both of those. I bought new ones and we have stopped using them. And I guess I have not. Dude, I've already gone in. I have the shipping label printed out to send them in. But now I'm like, I got to find a package I can send the Joy-Cons in, and I got to go to it's like, why does it all seem like such a hassle? Dude, I think everything has made us so lazy these days. Like, going to the post office is like
a chore.
An impossible chore. Like, I am not going to do that.
Well, it's all dumb hours. Like, I mean, the post office closes at like 5:30, so you have to rush right after work just to get to the post office.
Dude, I got to take some time off, take some PTO, just to take my Joy-Cons to the post office.
Got a sick day.
Dude, and the post office demographic, let's just say, is slower than the standard demographic. That
is true.
People who move a little bit slower in their life, and they're content with that. And I am tapping my toe, and I'm like, I'm going to scream or rip someone's head off.
If there's a line at the post office of like 4 or 5 people, I'm going to be there 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about right. 10 minutes per person. And you're like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Like, how is this happening? And then I get up there, 45 seconds, and I'm done. I give them the
people
package,
spend less time getting a driver's license at like the DMV. I don't get it.
Yeah.
After clarification from one of the lead producers on Sonic Frontiers, the game sounds way worse than we actually thought it was.
So much worse.
Like, what?
Dude, this is so nuts. So a lot of this is coming from one of the newsletters I follow. It's the Axios newsletter. So they reached out to the Frontiers lead producer, Takashi Izuka, and this guy did not have reassuring things to say, although I think he thought that they sounded reassuring. He starts with, quote, "I think a lot of people don't quite understand the new open zone gameplay that we're creating." So first of all, that's always my favorite, is when you get feedback. People are like, "I hate this," and you're like, "You don't get it."
Yeah.
Well, do you see that they're like, oh, it's better when you play it? Did
Yeah.
you see that?
If
Yeah.
you can't explain it, then it's probably a piece of shit.
You're like,
Well,
but it doesn't look fun. And you're like, no, you'll like it.
We're
Like,
like,
you just
"Oh,"
got to get in there.
we're like, "It looks so shitty. You made this big open world like Zelda-like game, and it's all empty." And he goes, "Wait, whoa! It's not open world. You can't just go anywhere and just do anything in a big world." He's like, "No, that is not at all what we're making here." So he discounts like what people were actually excited about this. We're like, "Oh, it's
A Sonic open world game.
a Sonic open world game. That's what we were billed, what we were sold, what the trailer seemed to indicate, and what everyone was actually like building their disappointment on was the fact that it was an open world, but it felt empty." Now he's saying, "Oh no, it feels empty and shitty, and it's also not an open."
Pull your heads out, guys. This world is not open.
Oh, it's closed. It's stupid. It's all the things you thought it was, but it's actually none of the good things you were hoping it was.
So is there like
What?
a bunch of different lanes, like highways almost, like in this world?
Dude,
Have
so
you-
he's saying you're going to have a very on rails levels. There's going to be linear stages, and then he's going to have 3D playgrounds with these different themed islands where Sonic can play around. And he's like, "This is just the first island." But like later on, you're going to need a ton more technical skills to get to certain places. And I'm like, wow, it sounds worse.
Yeah, you just made it like so
What?
unappealing. No, you're gonna have to be really good. This game is very hard in the next stages.
You know how it's empty and feels stupid? Well, it is that, but then later it gets hard.
Sonic Souls.
Yeah, right.
Dude, you know the game gets more difficult? Dude, so he says there's like, "Oh, don't worry though. We have a ton more to show in further announcements throughout the summer." And he's like, "Yeah, we're going to have some hands-on time." So first of all, I'm so reassured that after your whole week-long marketing push on IGN that you paid like millions of dollars for to own that website for a week, you're like, "Oh, we have so much more marketing." I'm like, are you making a video game or are you just talking about the marketing of it? And he's like, "Oh, there's going to be so much more." I'm like, okay, so you give us like the first bite of your meal and it's this marketing meal. And everyone's like, "Wow, that tastes like shit." And he's like, no, you don't get the shit. No. And then, but it's totally fine. This shit, I actually put like different types of shit in it.
Yeah.
And later, we're going to give you more shit to eat. It's going to be great. Like throughout the whole summer, big plates of it, bowls of it.
Some nutty bits. It's gonna be crazy.
It's like, bro, the amount wasn't really our concern, nor were the ingredients.
Yeah.
It's that you served us shit.
Dude, the last line of this
It's the greatest
this little
thing ever.
input, he says, he also said the game is unlikely to get delayed. And the fan reaction to this was overwhelmingly like, "Oh, you guys should delay this game and make it better.
Shit's
This
baked.
looks
You
bad."
can't unbake this shit.
And
You
he's
better
like,
like it. It's cooked. It's
No,
done.
that's not going to happen. Trust me. Once you get your hands on it, you're going to love it. And be like, "Oh, okay, so it's free to play then?" No. Once you buy it, you're going to have to trust us. Pay full price for this game, buy it, and then you'll know that you'll like it.
Dude,
It's
utter. Go ahead.
it's like he realizes what people wanted, and he's like, "Oh, that actually sounds like a good game." But then he doubles down on his own idea and is like, no, this game is going to be better than anything that you thought of.
Yeah, he has no self-reflection here, it seems. He just was like,
He's like, oh no, you'll like later. You'll like it later. He's just it's oddly optimistic for how poorly this has been received. Like nobody has liked it.
Yeah, we were hoping they would come back and be like, "Oh no, guys, like that was like test trial number 1. There's going to be so much in it. Just wait." And then they'd come back and they show us that same level, but like with enemies around there and your coins everywhere and like crazy stuff to do. And it's like, no, here's some piano music while you zip around the meadow.
And then Sonic's gonna kiss some girl. It's gonna be weird. And
And then
everyone's gonna be
there's going to be a
uncomfortable.
picnic.
You're
Yeah,
gonna hate it.
Slows
And then
down
then you're
quite
gonna
a
strap like a baby in a jar to your chest, and then you're just gonna start picking up
bit.
stuff and
Little
walking
Sonic
around.
babies.
And then halfway through, Sonic gets a car, and the rest of the game he just
There you
drives
go.
around.
It's a racing game after that, but not a running racing game.
Not a good
It is
one.
a driving game.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this. I think we're gonna be able to lampoon this game, and the fact that, like you said, it's not gonna be. They're like, no, this isn't gonna be delayed. They're pushing this thing out, come hell or high water. It's gonna be Sonic 06 all over again. I'm really excited for it. For some crazy reason, Embracer Group's CEO felt the need to defend the sale of 5% of the company to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I saw this too.
Wow.
And I had the same reaction. I was like, dude, you don't have to like say anything. You're just trying to make some cash. I get it.
Oh, that's okay, because he didn't say anything. In this letter, which was like thousands of words long.
It's very long.
He says nothing. I kept reading it, hoping I could like pull out a quote or two to like say like, here's something good. His only defense here, this is the only thing that seemed worth of pulling out thousands of words of him being like, hey, look, this is why we did it. He said this Saudi group will own slightly more than 5% of the votes and 8% of the capital, and they have invested in Embracer because they support our current vision, strategy, and leadership, not to change it. So he's saying that he's like, they're just giving us money to keep doing what we're doing, which, I mean, we kind of said here is what I think they're doing in all of these places. And he seemed to indicate in this letter through the thousands and thousands of words that this partnership was about the only way to break into the Middle Eastern North African game market was this huge Saudi investment. But the last few paragraphs make it abundantly clear what this whole letter is about, because it boils down to, I like money. I fucking love money. And
yeah.
$1 billion is a ton of money. So like,
Well,
that's
they're
a
an
lot
investment
of love.
company themselves.
Yep.
And so
They're
like
here for money.
yeah.
They exist to make money out of more. They may turn money into more money.
Like don't try to like, I feel like you don't, at that point you don't have to try to justify what you're doing, because what you're doing is trying to just make money. They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? They're buying companies.
Look, I think that
yeah,
the disappointment here comes from people who were optimistic or hopeful that this mysterious holding company that kept buying up all their favorite game studios wasn't a bad actor, but it's capitalism, guys.
they just
They're
are
all
what they
bad.
are. Like
It's the default. Yeah, it's like that's what it is. I mean, like everyone's here to make money, and that's and it doesn't matter where it's being made or who it's coming from, because at this scale, when you're talking about billion with a B, that's what it's going to happen.
Yep, that's
There's
where
going to
we're
be
at.
more money. So keep rooting for studios and companies like Team 17 that aren't currently owned by Saudi Arabian billionaire trust fund kids. Pay transparency is helping video game workers get paid more. Fancy that.
Oh, well, are they still, they're not firing people for talking about their wages?
Yeah, and they're not sexually harassing them. I don't know how they're making games.
What are
I don't
we
know.
doing here? This
I don't
is
know.
uncharted waters.
This is very uncharted territory. This is an article in Bloomberg from our friend Jason Schreier, focusing on two game companies, Gardens and this other one, Lightforge Games. These are both founded, ironically, by people people out of these high profile studios that are just burned out and tired of it, and they're forming studios that are built around, like Gardens, for example, was founded by people that worked on that last Spider-Man game and Skyrim, and their mission was to, quote, create a more humane, healthier work environment than many other game companies, which is not that hard.
Well,
By
I
actually
feel like that's what
stating
you're
that,
gonna be seeing more. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if they're not gonna unionize quickly, then they can just leave and go make their own game, instead of working at a major studio doing one thing. Designing the hats in a game or something.
yeah,
You know. So I don't know. I feel
it's
like that you're gonna see more of this.
yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. It's a probability thing, and we've talked about a lot the burnout and people that just the drain that the studio culture, AAA studio culture, creates just in the industry, where you have people, especially programmers, that know they can go out to any other job in the general economy that's outside in tech, outside of games, and make 3-4x what they're
A
making,
lot more.
better hours, less abuse, way happier. They get to go home at 5, like shit like that. And we talk about that being a huge drain, but you have to think that there's also people out there that are like, no, fuck that. I have to make games. Like, I still have to make games. I can't just like, I sell out or whatever. Like, I'm not going to let this industry get me down. And like you said, there's people that are just like forming these studios that either have the capital, the wherewithal, or they just haven't been beaten down quite enough. And they're like making these little beacons where people can be attracted. And Stephen Bell, who was the founder of Gardens, the one that I just mentioned with that was Spider-Man and Skyrim people, he said it's attracting some amazing talent. Go figure. You have your pick of the litter. If you go out there and you're like, hey, we've got great talent working here already, and our whole commitment here, our whole point is to just like have you guys be happy while you make games, you have your pick. You can do whoever, you can have whoever you want.
Yeah, pick your person. They're going to apply in droves.
People who have already left the gaming industry would come back for this type of stuff. So you have a pool that is larger than the current AAA studios have, because you not only have every AAA studios workers available to you, but you have everyone that's already quit and burned out, possibly at studios that you left. And you're like, hey, this person hasn't worked in games in 3 years, but she's like a wonderful programmer. We need to get her on. I think it's a really smart way to make money. So what I'm saying, Peterson, you want to found a game studio?
Let's do it.
Let's make some bank.
Can I look? We know just about as much as gaming as some of these other big CEOs.
More. Come on.
No, can I just say though, like, I love page transparency for so many reasons, but a quick little story. I was applying for a job at one of my a company my buddy works at, and I said, hey, will you just ask your HR person how, like, the range of the job, how much does it pay? And he comes back and he says, they told me it was proprietary. And I was like, that's not proprietary.
What?
Like, and I was like, wait, you guys don't have like your pay ranges posted anywhere? And he's like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, that is wild.
It is troublesome.
That should not be a secret. Like, you should at least have your ranges posted somewhere.
Yeah. Well, especially just in your area, in your city, you should have somewhat of an idea of, hey, entry level HR person, whatever, makes X amount on average, and then just add and subtract 10,000, and there you go. There's your salary band. Like,
yeah,
or just make up a freaking number. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that getting that out there, and by the way, folks, don't be afraid. You can't be fired, and it's illegal to punish you for talking about salary with your coworkers. So don't think that that's a problem.
Like,
and
they can make a policy all they want, but yeah, it's not a legal policy.
Yeah, it's an illegal policy. So go ahead and talk about your salary with your coworkers. You might be surprised what happens.
You probably will be.
Yeah. Especially if you're a woman. Sorry. Diablo Immortal, against all odds, has reportedly earned more than $24 million in its first 2 weeks.
So 24 of that million was 5 people? Is that
Yeah.
It was a couple streamers seeing how much it took to get a legendary gem.
Yes. Yeah, I wonder how many of those people are going to come back and
Of
spend
that
money.
24 million, 6 legendary gems were given out. So,
Dude,
pretty
look, you
crazy
open
odds.
up a brand new casino in downtown Vegas, and it's going to make $24 million in 2 weeks, guaranteed, no matter what. But if it also pays $0 out that entire 2 weeks, which is what this is, how many people are coming at week 3 is all I'm saying. It's a casino that doesn't pay out.
Dude, this is
it's so ridiculous.
I mean, so look, I guess here's the positive spin on this is good for them because there are real people at the studio working on these games, right? So at least the game that they are making has made some money. Now, I would be shocked if that continues at this rate. I think we're going to see at some point a major drop off. But you never know, right? You never know. They could just keep releasing content and it could stay huge for a while and make them $1 billion. But
Can it, though?
would be surprised if that was.
Here's
the
my
case.
question. Because wasn't this being developed in a partnership with NetEase?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chinese company?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can they continue to work on this game now? I'm sure Diablo Immortal was approved back in 2018, whatever, when they announced it. But can they actually continue at these NetEase? Once you said, there's employees that are working on it, that made my mind go to the employees that are working on this game, the majority of which are Chinese nationals
It's
working
all
in
outsourced.
China.
Yeah.
Well, they probably just finished it and now Blizzard owns the game.
Now Blizzard will take over all of the content add-ons, because if they were relying on NetEase to do that, or their employees, how much can they help? Or is it just, I guess, no, wait, maybe I'm totally sounding like an asshole. They can continue working on this game. They just can't sell it in China. So
I have no idea how that would work.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. I think the NetEase employees are fine. They can keep working on a game they legally could not play once they step outside of work.
All the QA testers are in jail. A very risky job in China.
It's an unapproved title they're working on. They're shipping it overseas, but no, they can't play this game. Dude, this game is contraband.
I tested the game. That's my job. That's what I was supposed to do. And they're like,
look, man, I was getting high on spiritual opium at work.
Directly
for money. That's my job.
You're a drug dealer at that point.
I love this. Don't smuggle it out of work, man. Don't get high on your own supply. In a move that is the very definition of too little too late, Overwatch 2 is removing randomized loot boxes entirely. Guy, why did they fucking announce this 3 years ago?
This doesn't make any sense.
Is
this at this point,
desperation?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yep.
So
they're not winning me back over.
What did they say? They're not.
There will be no loot boxes in Overwatch 2. Instead, the modernized live service will give our players the power to shape their own experiences. Hey, so I'm your editor. Cut that whole fucking sentence. We don't need that one. Players can acquire the items they want directly through the Battle Pass and an all-new and consistently updated in-game shop. So you can buy what you want. Okay. And they're treating this like, hey, we're doing this for you guys, and we're looking out. It's not like our game has been legally banned from 3 European companies because of our greed. Come on, you fuckheads.
So a battle pass is a way around that? I feel like that's just as bad.
So what they've done, what it sounds like they've done exactly what Fortnite does. Because Fortnite, there is no mystery. You pay for the battle pass, you can see beforehand every single skin and pickaxe and glider and everything that you will unlock with every level of the battle pass. You know exactly what you're getting. And that's what they're doing. So they're not doing anything original, right? They're just doing what Fortnite has been doing all along. But can I say, and maybe I'm off base on this, I appreciated the way Blizzard did their loot boxes. I like getting a loot box in game for playing the game.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to buy them, but getting a random box drop is exciting to me because when you do get that legendary, you're like, oh, sick, right? I want to keep playing. That's really fun for me.
Yeah, you want to grind it out. You want to get more currency to get more loot boxes.
Right. I didn't think the existence of their loot boxes was a problem. I think the problem is that you can buy them with real money. They should continue to dole them out for playing the game, as Blizzard has done with lots of their games, but not sell them, right? You can sell the skins, you can sell whatever you want. Just don't sell the loot box itself. I don't know why that's a hard concept.
Dude, the greed is too much because you can't escape it, and that's the problem. Is that you put these systems in, you build them into your game, and eventually some NBA middle manager motherfucker is going to come along and be like, dude, if we exploit the system to make money, it makes us $25 million next quarter. I get a promotion. Peace. I'm out. Like, that's exactly
my
what's
manager gets a promotion.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I might be able to get to like follow in his spot. Yeah, so this is just kind of a weird thing that I think is going to be exploited again by these same people, because what you're going to end up with is this store having $30 skins, $40 items, shit like that people are like, well, here's the money that you can just spend this on, and they're focused on, oh, well, we're going to make this a free-to-play experience. It's so integral to Overwatch 2. It's like, no, you're revealing your hand that you're stripping this game down to its barest features and selling us the rest through your in-game store.
Like, it legit sounds like I'm not even joking. When I'm reading through, like, their roadmap, this looks exactly like they just doing exactly what Fortnite is doing, which is crazy.
Who's innovating at fucking Blizzard right now, Peterson? You're expecting far too much. They're lucky they're trend chasing accurately. Like that I'm sure there's a manager out there that would be stoked to hear you saying that they're copying Fortnite well.
They're like,
oh,
wow, that's what we were going for. Finally. Oh,
that's
man,
a relief.
Really
you recognized it? Like, that's a win that we're plagiarizing enough that you actually recognize what we're plagiarizing. That's a big win for us.
I also say, oh, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was going to say, I am skeptical just based off of Blizzard's track record. So they say, like, there's a seasonal model, free updates every 9 weeks to ensure there's always something new to experience. I don't trust a company like Blizzard to give me a fresh update every 9 weeks. I just don't. And that's like the seasonal model, right? And that's exactly what Fortnite does. They do like the map changes, everything kind of changes every new season. That's what they're saying they're going to do. But I have never seen Blizzard roll out content at the same
Look at
pace
the first
that Epic
Overwatch
does.
game. Look at the last Overwatch game they made. Like, they haven't had a new champion. They haven't released a new character in like 2 years because they're like, well, duh, they haven't done anything. The game is like, they haven't updated shit in so long because they just keep saying, well, Overwatch 2, it's going to be Overwatch 2, it's going to be Overwatch 2. And people are like, okay, well, when is that fucking game going to come out? They're like, well, sometime. And so they want us to simultaneously believe that Overwatch 2 is going to be just like updated all the time, and that like all the stuff that they did on Overwatch was like not reflective of how they're going to treat Overwatch 2.
I'm not confident. That's what I'm going to say.
Don't buy it.
I'll probably play it because it's free to play, and I imagine we'll be like, hey, let's try it out. But I'm not excited for it, and I'm not confident in their promises that they're making.
So the season 1, starting October 1st, you get 3 new heroes, 6 new maps, new skins, mythic skin, game mode, whatever. So 6 new maps. That's building upon the existing maps already. Is that right?
I'm assuming, yeah.
And then 3 new heroes. I guess the 3 heroes that probably should have came out over the last 2 years.
Yes, in Overwatch
that they just
1.
saved for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the seasons kind of worked for Diablo 3. They worked pretty well, but there's not like a lot of new content. They're basically just kind of rehashing a bunch of stuff. But Yeah, I think Overwatch is just it's dying, and they're like scrambling, trying to figure out how to make money off of it.
I think they're in over their heads with this. And I think
Yes.
you're absolutely right. I don't think the audience is necessarily there. Again, I think people like me will play it. And if it doesn't feel fresh, if it feels like Overwatch 1 at all, I'll play 3 rounds and then be done. And that'll like, we'll play Overwatch 2 one night. And then be like, okay, let's go back to whatever we were playing before, you know?
Well, it's got to be like Overwatch 1. They're not updating the engine or anything.
Oh, it is.
It's
It's 100% Overwatch
Yeah, that's
1.
the thing. So
Nothing's different.
I know I'm gonna get into a game and I'm gonna play an exact Overwatch 1, like exact match that I played 3 years ago when I played Overwatch for the last time.
and it's
dude,
going to have
you're
the same problems and everything. Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and I think your assessment that they're in over their heads is hitting the nail right on the head, because these are people that are following in the footsteps of giants. The people that worked on Overwatch at Blizzard were the last generation of greats at Blizzard. Like Jeff Kaplan and all those people, they had assembled all the people that had failed to make Titan, or was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work, and they were people that scraped together Overwatch, and they did it through like sheer force of will and a shit ton of talent that they had gathered over like a decade plus, working on such titles as Warcraft 3, Warcraft, StarCraft 2, World of Warcraft, shit like that, dude. And now who's left? Those people now have to make a sequel to that game that was, in a lot of parts, promised by the last vestiges of that generation. The few remaining people were the ones that made all those promises of what Overwatch 2 would be. Now the people delivering in it are the few people that didn't have like the presence of mind to jump off the ship when it was sinking. Good luck. And now time for 7 sleazy minutes with Activision. All right, I'm starting the timer. 7 minutes starting now.
I don't think it'll
Activision
take
has
7.
investigated themselves. Actually, Peterson, you read your headline. Yours was better. You found a better one.
Oh, oh gosh. Hold on. I got to find the headline. Activision Blizzard has investigated Activision Blizzard and found that Activision Blizzard did nothing wrong.
Excellent. That's from The Verge, a much better headline than the one I wrote. This is an SEC filing from the Activision Blizzard that categorically, across the board, denies everything.
Whoa.
Dude, it is fucking unreal reading this thing. It makes me think that like it puts like a complete stain and damper on the entire legal profession, I guess, that this could be written. Quote, contrary to many of the allegations, the board and its external advisors have determined that there is no evidence to suggest that Activision Blizzard senior executives ever intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay the instances of gender harassment that occurred and were reported. Outside advisors, after exhaustive review, also determined the board never intentionally ignored or attempted to downplay the instances of gender harassment that occurred or were reported. The review of contemporaneous documentation and statements by relevant individuals shows that media criticism of the board and Activision Blizzard senior executives as insensitive to workplace matters is without merit.
Okay, so let me just tell you how I read this. I feel like this was worded very very carefully, because what they're saying is they're not saying we haven't had issues and problems. They're saying
The board wasn't involved. We didn't know.
no. Well, they're saying we don't think these issues and problems were systemic, because what you had in all of the things that we were hearing were instances, things that happened. This happened, and they didn't deny any of that. They're denying that those things happened because a larger systemic issue where it is going to continue to happen exactly like that. It has happened, it will happen, and that is just how the system is set up. They're saying, so they made it seem, and They didn't say anything about sexual harassment. They said gender harassment specifically.
Mhm.
So harassment that is due very specifically to and caused by the fact that someone is a woman. Let's just say what it is. Someone
Mhm.
is a woman. They're saying that's not the case. These were just individual people, right? That's what the between the lines is. Individual people had problems, but Activision Blizzard does not have a larger overall systemic problem. And I think they're wording it very carefully because the system has supported those people over and over and over again. But they're saying the system isn't creating those people. And I think it is legalese that is trying to dig them out of a hole that if someone doesn't read this correctly, will be like, oh, okay, no, yeah, Activision Blizzard is fine, I guess, which is not the case. Which is not the case.
Dig up, stupid.
Yeah.
Dig up. There's a paragraph in here toward the end I love where the board apparently hired a former EEOC chair from the Clinton administration, Gilbert Gaseus, to sit in their board. Dude, this paragraph is like honestly 80% just bragging about this guy's credentials from the Clinton administration.
Dude,
So
they
you're
love
telling
doing
me
this. They love doing
this
that.
guy has bifocals and his mind is not quite as sharp as it has always been. Thanks. That's great. That sounds really good. And then they tell us in like the last single sentence that they brought this motherfucker into a boardroom, sat him down with data they provided, not data he requested or audited. They said, "Here's this stuff. Can you find any wrongdoing in here?" And he's like, "No, in this stuff you gave me and paid me to look through, nothing in here. Looks all good." They're like, "Good, because we cherry picked that, so that's what you would say." Head on out, Gilbert Gaseus. Go back to your 8 different advisory boards positions on like 4 different companies where you make billions of dollars just patting the bottoms of corporations. But of course, this whole letter comes from everyone's favorite corporate ghoul, Fran Townsend,
Yes.
who's slithered out of her office, I guess, to dictate this, and then just slithered on back to her lair because that's like all we've heard from her. That's all she does now is just write like very inflammatory shit to the SEC, and then I don't know, what does she do? Why does she exist?
Dude, I don't know. I'm interested to see what more comes out still. Because, like the headline said, this was Activision Blizzard doing an internal investigation. They had some guy who worked on an administration 20 years ago. JD, that was over 20 years ago. Like, come on, they had to wake this guy up to look at the data. Like,
dude, this guy is pre-financial crisis. This guy is pre-9/11. This guy is pre so many huge things, and that's when he was cutting his teeth, and we're like, yeah, this is who we brought in.
You guys are gonna love these credentials. And you're like, Clinton administration? That was so many presidents ago. What are we doing?
At least, I mean, Fran Townsend's at least Bush 2. God. Bethesda confirms that Fallout 5 will be their next game after Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay.
Why'd you put this on here?
Because it's the funniest thing ever. Everyone was like, oh, good. Did you actually read the headline of the article that's there?
No, what does it say?
What I left out, it said, will probably be out by 2050.
2050.
Because, oh my, dude, okay, so this is what they're
timeline.
Saying. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Bethesda confirms that Fallout 5 is their next game after ES6. What have we seen about Elder Scrolls 6 so far?
It's in pre-production.
Yeah.
We've seen a single title in a trailer 2 years ago.
That's it. Dude, we are
2 years ago.
We are 8 years away easily from Elder Scrolls 6. And now they're out announcing like, oh yeah, don't worry. We're going to work on Fallout 5 after this. And you're like, why? Don't even say anything. Like, that's not exciting to me.
Dude, we're genuinely like, the headline joke aside, at least 2030 plus.
Yeah, like no joke.
Easily.
Like, I feel like that's 20 years away. Unless they really start cranking on both of those games immediately, we're 12 years away. Like, either way, we're at least a decade away.
Yeah, unless like this with this Microsoft merger, I mean, unless they can put more resources and money to the team, but they don't work on games at the same time. They finish projects, then they move to the next project, right?
Well, that's
Like
like
they
what they're doing two right now, and it has felt like a major undertaking for them because they haven't even touched Elder Scrolls yet.
Like
right, right, and they
Starfield better
won't.
be legit as good as Skyrim. If it's not, dude, they're gonna be.
They're not going to make it to Elder Scrolls 6.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like you can only like flounder for so long.
They'll
with
release the game and then patch it for several years to come, kind of like what No Man's Sky did, and then they'll make Elder Scrolls 6.
This is yeah. So this I put this in there, JD, because like on paper that sounds exciting because it says
Yeah.
Fallout 5, but in reality this is very depressing. Like, why would they
why
say
the-
anything?
Everybody knows
yeah.
that they're going to
Why-
eventually make a game. Like, why do they need to announce it?
That's what I'm saying. This is telling people what everyone has
Starfield
known since...
2 will come out after Fallout 5.8.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like, yeah,
We've known this since 2015. It's not fucking marketing, Todd Howard.
and since they confirmed the timeline, it's even worse because we know they've done nothing on Elder Scrolls 6 so far.
It's like anti-marketing.
So we're
Yeah.
like, oh no, like we're never getting Fallout 5. I'm gonna be an old man by the time Fallout 5
It's like
comes around.
they've been making Fallout games for what, like 30 years or some crazy number. They're never
Yeah.
going to stop making Fallout games. They're going to keep making Fallout games until until they're all dead
Yeah,
from
Fallout
nuclear
4
fallout.
came out
from Fallout.
in 2015. Fallout 4 came out 7 years ago, and we're thinking maybe at best Fallout 5 in like 6 or 7.
But you got to say
Years.
Fallout 76 came out 3 years ago.
But yeah,
Or
Right,
4
but
years ago.
I'm still counting just like in the mainline series.
Sure.
We're looking at 10 or 12 to 15 years.
yep.
12 to
Yeah.
15 years between Fallout 4 and Fallout 5. I mean, at that point,
What was
Oh,
it between 3
man.
and 4?
Unless they just start like really knocking out games.
7,
Okay.
2008 for 3, I believe.
Yeah, so unless they really just start knocking out games, yeah, we're never gonna see this game.
However, I
gonna
will
see
say, like Aaron said, if with this Microsoft acquisition and something that blew my mind recently when I was reading that Skyrim was made by a team of 100 people, maybe if it's 200 people, you can make it in 75% of the time.
No,
I
I
don't
would say keep it at 100 and get those other 100 people to start working on the next game.
That's what I would rather have.
Mhm.
Have 7 series and you're just pumping one out every year, Ubisoft
like
style.
just start knocking them out. Because if 100 people made Skyrim, they did a great job. You know what I mean?
Keep those 100 people making Elder Scrolls 6. They should have made that.
And
4
then take
years
the
ago.
other 100 people to do the Fallout, and then the other 100 people maybe Starfield 2, and then
Dude, should we
We'll just
be
keep
project managers?
and then another
We
100
literally couldn't be
people to
doing a
manage
worse
those 100
job.
people.
Than half the PMs in video games right now. Because hey, we're not spending significant time sexually harassing and assaulting female coworkers. None of us do that, dude. So right there, just like right off the top, we're doing better.
I've already got more time than they do. Hey, maybe
That's
maybe I should interview for a job there, and that's my selling point. Like,
I got an
listen,
extra 20 hours a week, folks.
Because
look at
I-
this. Look at all this free time with my hands. They're not squeezing anyone. I'm not farting on anyone. Look at this. I can type on stuff. I can use my hands for an extra 20, 25
this
hours
hand's
a week.
for a mouse. This hand goes on the keyboard. Like
Like,
whatever you guys want. Like
whoa.
this is real.
I can do real work, folks. Watch this.
Kudos.
All right. Kudos is our positivity segment. We give a shout out to something we love. And kudos this week. We have a bunch of kudos. Who wants to go first?
Dude, I'll go. I'll do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, so mine is a weird kudos, but I watched a show on Netflix called, bear with me, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. Okay, so this game is sorry. Let me start over. This show is
Get your
about
shit together, man. What?
You know what? Okay. No, I had a different thing on my head. Let me just get it off my head. The guy who they had look at the they had review the data at Activision Blizzard is 70 years old, by the way. 70 years old. He should have retired a decade ago.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Anyway, sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Okay.
Come on, man.
Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey is a Netflix miniseries. It's 4 episodes, and it is about the FLDS Church. So this is a break off of the Mormon Church that happened. I don't know when. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but it's interesting because it's all here in Utah, right?
Yeah.
And it goes into the Warren Jeffs period of the FLDS. If you're familiar with that, that was big in the news. What was that? Like 2008,
I was in like college,
2009 type
Oh,
era.
that's exactly when I was in college. Yeah.
And so it was big in the news there. He was on the FBI top 10 most wanted list. But it's about this group. It is a polygamist sect that lives out in mostly out in southern Utah, Arizona border. And it's crazy. Okay, this whole docu series is wild, and it just gets. And I will give the disclaimer. Some of the stuff around episode 4, I mean, it's all pretty disturbing, but they play some audio files of Warren Jeffs doing very sexual ceremonies, and it is like shocking. It's shocking. So it's you watch it and you get a little bit infuriated, but also it's very fascinating. They do a good job in the documentary of like going through the timeline of it all and like building the story and introducing the quote unquote characters, the people who are like the key players in the prosecution who were members of the FLDS church. So it's very good, very well done.
You said this is a series, or it's just like a one-off doc?
There's 4 episodes.
Oh,
so,
awesome! So there's
yeah,
good content in there.
Yeah, so it's honestly very, very good. I binged it, and they're 4-hour-long episodes. You know, I binged it. It's fascinating, interesting. Like I said, shocking. Kind of all the things you want out of a docu-series, but I would say definitely worth watching. And so, yeah, check it out on Netflix. It's called Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, which, by the way, those were like 2 of Warren Jeff's like mantras that he made everyone like constantly repeat. Keep sweet for the women, of course, and then pray and obey. So it's wild. Check it out on Netflix.
Cool. Aaron, what do you got?
What do I got? I got I've been playing a game recently. It just came out. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is currently on Steam and Xbox Games Pass, crossplay, all that stuff. So if you've ever played the classic arcade game, Turtles in Time, it's the same thing. You have 4 characters, up to 4 characters on the screen, or actually, I think this one is 5 or 6 characters.
6, I believe.
6. Okay, if you have Casey Jones, probably. And yeah, you just go through the missions. There's 18 levels. You start off in New York City, and you end in Dimension X. And you fight all the classics. Like the first few levels, you're fighting Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes.
And doing all this stuff. You know, eating pizza to regenerate your health.
Of course.
Once you beat the campaign, the story mode, which is like 2 to 3 hours, depending on how difficult you make the game. Then you unlock Casey Jones, which is probably the most OP character. Um, Starting off, I think the two overpowered characters are April and Raphael.
April O'Neil, the great fighter we all know.
She's super good, man. She is super good. So each one of the characters have speed, damage, and reach, and they have like 1 to 3 stars like on each category, and they're all pretty well balanced. Like one will have 3 and 2 and 1, or 1, 2, and 3. Equal amount of stars. And then you get Casey Jones. It's just like stars all the way down. You're
All
just like, oh,
stars.
okay. He's just the best at everything, apparently.
Do the characters play differently?
Yeah, they have different moves, and the speed is very very different. So if you play
They have different
Donatello,
reaches with their weapons then too.
yeah. So
Okay.
if you play as Donatello, Donatello has the longest reach, right, with his staff, and he's the slowest. He has 1 star, so he's super slow. But his damage is really good too. So you have to time your attacks really well. And for me personally, I just like to button mash, and so I wasn't.
Get in there and mash.
I don't. I didn't do very well. And April O'Neil is crazy fast, and she doesn't do a ton of damage. But if you can get in there, throw some punches, dodge out, and go back in, there's lots of cool different combinations with the buttons. You only use like 3 buttons, and you can taunt, which is kind of cool. And you get superpowers. You just tap Y and you spin around or do some crazy stuff to kill a bunch of enemies on the screen. It's the soundtrack is amazing. I was actually watching the late 80s and 90s cartoon while playing the game, and I was at home, man. It's so good.
Dude, can I just say I'm so happy that you're giving it like a positive review, because I was excited for this game when I heard about it like a week and a half ago. And then like I've already downloaded it, haven't played it yet, but now you're making me more excited to play this game.
I was stoked before.
It's one of those games where it could be really bad. Like they could actually do a pretty bad job trying to rejuvenate this classic beat 'em up game, and they knocked it out of the park 100%.
Yes.
There's not a ton of content, but it's meant to be played with other people, and you can level up each character and they get more health, more abilities as they level up. I'm not sure how many levels there are. I'm on level 7 with April O'Neil, and I unlocked like a new special attack that I could do a backflip and hit special, and then I do something else, throw a TV camera or something like that. But yeah, it's super solid. The only downside so far is matchmaking online is super bad. It's like the ping is through the roof, and your characters won't even appear on screen. It's just like they're and I don't even know what's going on. So yeah, don't do just blind matchmaking. Play with a friend. It's cross-platform, like I said, so you can play with people who are on Xbox and you're on PC.
Tight.
So good.
Awesome.
Go download it.
TMNT, what's it called? Shredder's Revenge?
Shredder's Revenge.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. So I have a weird kudos, as always, for an old action movie. I watched this movie on Hulu. I think they've got all of these old Predator movies on Hulu right now. Because I didn't know this. Do you know there's another one coming out? A Predator prequel?
I have heard about that, but
I didn't know about it. It's called Prey, and it's set I believe it's back in like the 1700s, and there's a Cherokee woman that's like hunting the predator, who's there hunting, whatever.
Humans.
Oh, sounds so fucking cool.
That does sound kind of cool.
And so I think this is kind of like low-key marketing for it, which is, I love when they do that type of shit, when it's like, oh, we gotta get people psyched for a new follow-up film or something, so you can find them all on a streaming service. Anyway, I watched Predator 2. This is one with Danny Glover and what's his fucking face? who's the guy in Point Break? Gary
Gary
Busey.
Busey.
Gary
Oh my
Busey and Danny Glover, a very 90s team up.
And Bill Paxton's in it. I didn't realize Bill Paxton's in it.
Bill Paxton's character's great. Spoiler alert: they rip his Predator rips his spinal column out along with his skull. It's pretty cool. So this is set in a future, of a near future, because it was made in like 92, and this was set in like 1997 in LA. It's like a heat wave and like crime wave, and so it's got like that very, and it's like through a 1990s lens. I don't know. It's such a very clear timepiece. It's fun to watch just for that alone. But it's just one of those. I think this is a very underappreciated movie. I think all the stupid bros that never shut up about Die Hard being the perfect action movie need to check themselves and watch Predator 2, because Predator 2 is kind of one of those perfect storm action movies. I think it's super underappreciated. The action's awesome. The fights with Danny, I don't know, it just feels fucking cool. It just, like, Predator 1 with Arnold is awesome for what it is, a very guns and muscles action film, but Danny Glover isn't really either of those things. And him taking on the Predator, you could kind of put yourself in his shoes a little bit more, and it feels awesome. It's really cool.
So you prefer Predator 2 over Predator? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
absolutely.
Can I say I have
absolutely.
never
Ooh.
seen any of them?
Oh my goodness, get out of here.
I don't know why.
Well, hey, no, that's not a bad idea. You should watch these.
That I like.
Just
I
watch
kinda
go watch
want to.
Predator and then watch Predator 2.
Like if
Yeah,
they're on
watch
Hulu,
Predator
I should
1.
just go watch them.
No, watch Predator 1, watch Predator 2, and they're short. That's what's nice, is they're not a movie that's like gonna drag it out and make you spend 2.5 hours with it. It's like, here's an hour and a half. You'd see it on cable midday, and like I'd seen bits and pieces of this film. I'd never seen it all the way through, and I was like, God damn, way better than like Speed or like a similar 90s action movie. Way better. But yeah, I think, Peterson, you should watch Predator 1, watch Predator 2, and then watch one of my very, very guilty favorite movies, Alien vs. Predator.
Oh my gosh, man.
See? I knew you'd judge me.
Oh, that movie is so bad. So bad.
Can I?
No.
Can I?
I don't say this around people that actually like these films, because I get that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's cool. I mean, you like what you like, right?
This is worse. It's getting more condescending.
You know, you can have
Okay
bad
for
opinions,
you.
and that's okay.
Everyone gets to be wrong about things somehow and again.
What's the other Predator movie with who was it? It was Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody. That's
Okay.
Predators.
Can I just
Predators?
say I need
Okay.
to roll back? I have seen that one.
Predators?
That's the first one.
Predators,
we've seen.
and here's why. I'm gonna make an admission here that I'm not super.
You're a
proud
huge
of.
Topher Grace fan. You see all his films.
I can't get enough Topher Grace. Something about that face. I just need to look at it. No,
Just want to squeeze it until it explodes.
no. It was during my internship. I had a couple weeks where I was bored out of my mind. It was like internship winding down, not a lot to do, and I was like, no one cares where I am, like, for legit. So I just left and went to a movie in the middle of the day, and the only movie that was showing at that time was Predators with Adrian Brody. So
Yeah, and Morpheus.
it was not that good.
It's not great.
No,
It's
wasn't
okay
into it.
for lore. The lore in it is super.
I like the whole idea that they put him on a planet and then just started
like a
hunting
hunting
him.
game reserve planet is a cool concept. Clunky execution, but no, you should watch the first one's sick, just because of it's so Arnold.
It's so classic, yeah.
And then the second one is cool because it feels like a John Carpenter movie, if I'm being honest. That's what it feels like, kind of Escape from New York, Escape from LA type of feel.
Okay.
But it's so good. I want you to
so
see it and
long.
tell me what you think. Yeah, it's great. Predator 2, check it out on Hulu. HBO, maybe. I don't know. Google it.
Hey, dude, you know what a rundown is?
Use it in a sentence.
Can you get this rundown for me?
Try another sentence.
This rundown better be really good. I don't know, but it sounds like the rundown's really important.
All right. The rundown is. I'm not really sure. Peterson, do you know what a rundown is?
Um, I've done a couple. I don't know. I feel like I've done a couple rundowns, but I'm still not 100% sure what it is.
Give it your best shot, like whatever you think a rundown is.
All right. Well, here I go. So I have lately been playing a game called 7 Days to Die. It's been out for a little while. It is a zombie survival game. So
Another
nothing,
one.
yeah, nothing original, right? It's
Mm-mm.
first person. In fact, it reminded me a lot of Project Zomboid. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Project
But first
Zomboid.
person, just a
but-
different perspective.
Yeah, first person.
That's funny.
Barely better graphics.
Yeah, dude,
and
the
so-
gameplay is hilarious.
Yeah, so it's not like super incredible, but man, am I hooked on this game. So first, let me tell you what it is. So, uh, 7 Days to Die. You walk around and there are, you need to do typical survival stuff. So you need to eat, you need to drink, you need to be warm or cool, like I guess right temperature, and then you got to find shelter, right? Because
These zombies look so goofy.
dude, they are so goofy.
Kills
Dude,
me.
no, it's not nice. Like legit plays like a game from 2004. Like the one thing that we cannot get over is the ladder mechanics are honestly ladder mechanics from 2004. Like you just look
float
up the ladder
in
and
front of
float up
them.
it, and going down it is like you're probably gonna fall because you're like because you have to like look down at the right angle and like
Well, this game is old, right? Did this game come out like a million years ago?
I mean it's pretty old, not a million years old, but let's see, what does it say? Does it say when it came out? Anyway, so we've been playing this game though, and
2013, dude.
Yeah.
This game is old as shit.
and it's still in alpha or something, or early access. It's still early access.
How did you guys fall into this game?
I don't know. Someone was like, "Hey, let's play it," and it was on Game Pass. So I was like, "All right, I'll play
Oh,
it."
so it's free.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
I was
easy.
like, "Sure, I'll play." And at first, I was like, "I don't know about this game," but man, we got hooked because it has that typical cycle of like you're crafting items, and there's a lot of things to craft. That's what they do really well. Is there's a ton to do. There's
Ton of menus here.
just tons of menus, tons of crafting, and there's a lot of recipes you have to learn and unlock. Even so many to the point where like you get skill points as you level up, and when you level up, you can kind of put a point on the skill tree, but like there's too many to like you don't get them fast enough, and there's too many skills to be able to like do all of them.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing Fallout, you're like, I'm just gonna kind of level up everything.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And so I'm playing with 3 other guys, and we all have like a specialty, which is pretty fun
Oh, I love that.
because you kind of have to, or else
Yeah.
it's like it's tough. So it's like a nice way to play the game. So we all have a specialty. One is crafting weapons, one is farming, I'm cooking, one is making the defenses for the base. And then as you get further into the game, you kind of branch out a little bit from that. But so you specialize in these different things. You find recipes. There's tons of things to unlock because you unlock a lot of the things by finding skill books, reading books throughout the you can find throughout the world. And the other thing the game does really well is rewards, looting, searching houses. So you see a house, if you go loot that house, you'll find one good thing at least. One
Mhm.
thing that you're like, oh, nice. Like either if it's a skill.
Is
book,
this
if it's
randomly
a better
generated
weapon.
map?
So the map we're playing is not. The map
Oh.
we're playing is the one they crafted, but there is ways to play randomly generated maps. But the loot is random generated, and it does like respawn every 3 days or something. The loot will kind of come back,
Okay.
and it'll be different loot. And so there's a lot of like exploring you do because you're like, oh, I just found a cool building. Who wants to go search it with me? You know, and the bigger buildings, there's more zombies. The zombies, as you're looting a building, like you open a door and it makes enough noise for them to like wake up, and then they start coming. So as you're the whole time you're looting, you're also like fighting zombies, and they're easy enough to kill to where you're not like super scared to loot, but they're also dangerous enough to where you're not just barging in,
Right.
guns blazing, right? Especially when nighttime comes, all the zombies, so there's more zombies and they run. So instead of shambling after you, where you can just like sit there and shoot them with a crossbow for
They're sprinting it.
30 seconds, they run at you, right? And so you have to have a gun, you have to hide, especially early game. You're mailing these zombies, and they will, like you get status effects from the zombies. You can get infected, and there's medicine to where you can heal yourself. There's like a lot of different things. Some of the food can heal you. And then there are animals in the game: bears, wolves, coyotes, cougars, and they're all very, very dangerous.
Right.
And there's zombie version of those too, like zombie bears.
Oh
and
shit!
stuff.
There's a ton of stuff in this game.
So
Because they've been working on it for 10 years.
Yeah, and the zombies do get harder as you level up. So you'll encounter zombies that now spit at you, this like acid. There you'll encounter big tanky zombies. But the thing that makes this game, I'd say the thing they do a little bit differently is every 7 days, because it's called 7 Days to Die. Every 7 days at night, the seventh night is Horde Night, is what we call it.
Mhm.
And you will fight all night long, just a relentless horde that just keeps coming at you. And so you have to have your base up to snuff, your traps, and then all your ammo. So at the first few nights we're like in our base that we have,
Mhm.
and we're like, oh, this is fine. Our traps and walls are holding. Well, once we've leveled up a few times, we did a horde night at our base, and they just like destroying walls and stuff. Because there's enough zombies, they're
come
just like
forever.
smashing their way through the concrete walls eventually. And they come in, and yeah,
Dude, this is like Fortnite, OG Fortnite.
it kind of is, yeah.
It was like literally what it was, except for there was 2 weeks instead
Yeah.
of 1.
Yeah, and it's I'd say a little bit I mean, obviously there's way more in it than that.
Yeah, way.
But so now we do horde nights, though we have to do it in a separate building. So we have a separate building, not our base, because they destroyed a few chests. And
They
we lost
only
all
come
the
for
stuff
you
in there.
guys. They just come for your
Yeah,
actual.
they come for you.
Okay.
And I mean, it's crazy. We are killing. There's 4 of us in, and we
Mhm.
are just nonstop shooting like exploding arrows and just raining bullets on these zombies
Oh my god.
for a long time through the whole night. And it's just nonstop. We're killing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies.
Yeah, and a week is you might play for how like not every night are you gonna go that you guys play. How many hours would you say is a week?
I you know what? That's a good question.
Because
'Cause I
I'm
don't
watching
know.
this video and this person it's not usually sometimes these game clocks tick like every minute is a second.
Yeah.
This is not that. Every
No.
minute is a couple seconds.
Yeah.
So I think a day might be like 20, 30 minutes.
So what I'll say is the nighttime where we're fighting zombies is like 20 minutes. So we're like
Yeah.
20 minutes of nonstop zombie fighting. It's crazy. So that's what makes it fun. And then you're like out of ammo, you're out of all your good stuff. The building's been destroyed.
Yeah.
The traps. So then you have to like, you want to go explore and stuff like that, but you do have to dedicate like at least a day
Oh
to
yeah.
crafting all of that stuff that you need, right?
That's so
Otherwise,
crazy.
you're going to spend that 7th night on your motorcycle
Panic
just
crafting.
running.
Oh, so you can actually escape the horde.
Yeah, so we put our bikes in strategic positions in case someone falls off the roof, which someone has before.
And you just book it.
Just get in the car and drive. Just drive. Just go. Don't stop. And because they're attacking you the whole time too. So if you're driving away, they're still coming. So I don't know. It's fun. It's janky. Here's the thing. And not everything
all
is
the games we
janky.
play are janky. That's just like the expectation now.
Yeah, that's true. Most of it's not. And I've encountered actually very few bugs and like glitches,
Mm-hmm.
but where you find the janky, like it has a terrible user interface. Terrible. I mean, this is one of those games where you have to get on Google to figure out how to do certain things.
Ooh, that's
Because
fun.
it never explains it to you, and you're like, was I just supposed to know this? So like early on, we talked about this before. Very early on, though, we were all like on Google looking up how do I put gas in my car, and you're like, oh, you just have to hold down E instead of clicking E on the bike. Like, yeah, it's just like stuff like that, and you're like, I
Wow.
guess, but like it doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The UI doesn't. But I mean, you get used to it, and then it doesn't bother you anymore.
Crafting menu is enormous.
The
Jesus.
crafting menu is enormous.
Good Lord, this is usually these games will make that looks like. Are there not crafting benches in this? It's all in the
there-
fucking menu.
There are benches, yeah, and you
Oh.
go into you open up the bench, and it opens up a menu.
Good heavens.
You can put
yeah.
mods on all of your weapons and all of your armor and your clothes. Like, there's a lot of stuff, a lot to do, a lot of loot. And I'm
Okay.
having a ton of fun with this. I can't stop. JD, I bet in the last week I've put in at least 30 hours.
Oh yeah, you've been on.
Dude, it's
Disgusting amount of time.
crazy. It's crazy. And we've all been doing that. We've all been putting in that much time. Like,
You have a server? Just set up a server like Valheim?
yeah. So we have a server just like in Valheim, a persistent server. So it's funny because sometimes, like, a couple days I did the Horde night, and then I logged out and I didn't play for a day. And that night I get in and it's a Horde night again, and I'm like,
Oh shit.
oh, because those guys have been on, and I'm like, oh geez, here we go. Like, I gotta get ready for this.
Yeah, that's rough.
Oh man,
Logging
so yeah,
in the middle of a Horde night. Hey guys, what's going on? Oh my god! Oh my god!
yeah. I was like, what time is it? And it's like, because the day timer thingy will turn red on Horde days, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got like 4 in-game hours to prep for this. So I don't know.
Nice, dude.
It's
Okay, so
it's
this
a lot of fun.
sounds like because you got it at Game Pass, it's a Game Pass at any price. How much?
Like, yeah.
How much is it normally?
$25, I think.
Would you pay? Would you say that's like worth it? Sounds
Yeah,
like it is.
yeah. I'd pay $25 for it. No problem. All the guys I'm playing with paid for it because they didn't check Game Pass first.
Yeah.
These idiots.
Oops.
Um,
So buy at any price.
yeah. Okay,
then-
so food item.
Let's hear it.
I had to think about this one for a minute. But here's what I came up with, and it's a very specific thing. When I went to Malaysia, we went to like this, like a fruit plantation place. You know, they just had like fruit trees and all these things, right?
Mhm.
So we go to this place, you know, trying all the cool fruit, and then they had like a big shop section, and they had like, oh, so I bought a chicken coconut curry kit from all the stuff was from their garden, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be dope, right? All the seasonings, all the spices, bring it home, open it up. There's no instructions, nothing.
Beautiful.
And that's this game. This game is a foreign meal kit with no instructions.
There are instructions. They're just in Malaysian.
Yeah.
Don't you read?
I can't read any of the languages that are. I was looking up what each of the individual spices were. They weren't even labeled. I just had to like, what's this? Oh, this looks like
Amazing.
star anise, so I'll use that one. And so eventually I put it together, and you know, chicken coconut curry is fantastic. So great meal, but no idea what I'm doing. Had to look it up immediately. That's this game. I had to look up stuff, how to do things, because it just is not going to help you get there. So yeah, this is a chicken coconut curry kit from Malaysia with no instructions.
I love it. Yeah, this game looks like I could see how you'd get addicted to it, and I could see, but it definitely seems like a coconut curry is a flavor that some people are gonna really like.
Yeah. It's addicting. I think we'll bounce off of it in a week or two. I think we're coming to the end of it. There
Yeah.
are a lot of mods to this game.
Oh, I bet.
And there are some that look really good, like that make things very interesting. So we might try out a mod soon, and do like a restart and do a mod. I don't know, something like that. So we'll see.
Nice.
So it's 7 Days to Die.
Very cool.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who's going to be rolling the Dice of Destiny, a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. That person then rolls a 6-sided dice to see how much money they can spend on their Dice of Destiny game. Then they find a game in that genre for that price, pick it, play it, and review it. Last week, Peterson, he had the dice. He got them.
We got
he
the
rolled
dice.
A good one, a really good one that, God, I wish had been mixed into my double dice last
Nope.
week. That would have helped.
Nope.
But no, he got Shooter, $60 Shooter, basically half of all video games.
Yeah, like any video game.
Video game.
It's out there.
What did you pick?
So obviously, hot off the heels of a Xbox Game Pass game,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, let me check Game Pass and see if there's anything on there that I'm interested in. There was actually a bunch. There was a bunch. You're playing one that you were telling me to play.
Super good.
But I decided on a game that I have been wanting to play for months. It came out months. When did this game come out? Anyways, I decided on the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy video game. So this one is not. It came out in October.
This is a shooter. Oh, I guess I hadn't really thought of it as a shooter.
Yeah, everything has it classified as a shooter. It's like a mixture between a Telltale game and an action game.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I went with.
Oh, yeah,
Guardians
this is totally
of the
a
Galaxy.
shooter.
Everything about it says that this game is good.
And this is on free on Game Pass now.
I have it on Game Pass. Yeah, I've already have it downloaded.
Dude,
so
I'm gonna have to check this out. Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty slick.
Everybody said it was great. I haven't seen anyone be like, "Oh, this game sucks." Everybody said it was great. It's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam, 8 out of 10 on IGN. Very well reviewed. So I thought it's about time I jump in.
Yeah, dude, why not? That looks dope. All right, well, I'm looking forward to your review. Maybe next week, but maybe not.
Yeah, I'll have it next week.
Yeah, cool. We'll see that then. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking around with us. We've got some music from the TMNT soundtrack. Play us out.
So good.
I'm really excited about this. This is some good shit. I'm gonna have to jump in on this now that it's out. Play this little bit with Jackson. Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm JD logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
Peterson Productions. Oh yeah.